guys, I'm Alana and welcome to Button Bash. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire recently released on all the Nintendo DS devices that have 3D capabilities, and I've been playing Omega Ruby on my 3DS XL. I feel like playing is kind of an understatement. I've been losing sleep to this game. Pokemon gets me every time. So both of these new Pokemon games are actually remakes of the original 2003 Game Boy Advance titles Ruby and Sapphire. As remakes, they're fantastic. The layout of Hoenn region is basically exactly the same, but the game runs on last year's Pokemon X and Y engine, meaning the graphics are all in 3D, and I think Omega Ruby is probably the most alive feeling Pokemon game that I've encountered. As you wander through the diverse series of towns on your map on a journey to become a Pokemon master, you'll encounter birds, presumably also Pokemon that fly around the sky. You can see your reflection in the water. You can sometimes even see certain Pokemon crawling through the grass, allowing you to identify them, sneak up on them, and catch them. This game functions more like a real-world Pokemon game than its predecessors, and the environments are diverse and pretty damn gorgeous. Speaking of Pokemon crawling through grass though, Pokemon Omega Ruby, despite being a remake, includes some worthwhile features that X and Y did not. It's a very similar game overall because the formula is the same. You catch Pokemon, which are wild animals, make them fight each other, and then get money and XP so they level up and get stronger. All the while, you're somehow brought into a plot regarding an evil gang of Team Magma or Team Aqua in Alpha Sapphire. So you now have access to a handy thing called DexNav, which is part of your menu screen called PokéNav Plus, that gives you information about Pokemon in the area that you're in. It lets you approach those Pokemon you can see rummaging around in the tall grass and get some insight into their stats before you actually engage with them by sneaking up on them with your DexNav open. The area nav of your menu, which is effectively a map, can also tell you which Pokemon appear in what regions. Maybe getting rid of the need to stop and Google to find where that Abra is, which is totally a thing that I normally do because Alakazam is the greatest. Both of these are super handy features for catching specific types of Pokemon, which I think will be particularly important for competitive players. All of X and Y's great training and breeding features are still available too, so Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire are likely the most competitive, appropriate games in the entire series. The menu also features news programs, Street Pass, and multiplayer access, so it's a damn handy little thing. Omega Ruby also has secret bases and cosplay, which are pretty pointless in the grand scheme of the game, but still a fun little distraction. Well, one of them is, the other one is weird. Secret bases are effectively houses you can access throughout the game and decorate accordingly. You can share your base online and via QR codes and battle with the other members of secret bases. It's not a hugely important part of the game, but they are really fun, and it's nice to be able to decorate them where, unlike X and Y, there's no actual option for you to decorate your character itself by changing clothing in this one. The cosplay stuff, though, is really strange. You can dress up Pikachu in 5 different costumes, which you can get at a contest hall after you've actually won the cosplay Pikachu, also at a contest hall. Cosplay Pikachu has animations that are different, and sure, it's kind of cute, but I largely just found it entirely pointless, especially for something that Nintendo seemed to plug really hard. If you're into dressing up Pikachus, that's cool, but for the most part, I felt like it was a waste of time to me. Luckily, they're entirely optional. And aside from the Soar ability, which lets you control a Pokemon and fly around Hoenn yourself controlling it instead of using Fly as a fast travel option, and soaring is seriously delightful, there's unfortunately virtually nothing to do post-game, especially into comparison to X and Y, so I just almost immediately started over again after using the Soar ability a bunch more. You can even get Megastones to evolve your Pokemon well before beating the Elite Four in this one. A few other minor complaints: the Pokécenters and Pokémarts are separated again, and though it's likely to make sure that the layout of the town stays the same as the original Hoenn games, I only now realize after playing 100 hours of X and Y how damn inconvenient it is. And because of the way the plot functions and the layout of Hoenn, you are very often fighting the exact same types of Pokemon, which can have far too much power over you playing your team, kind of taking away some of the freedom that other games might give you, which is a bit of a shame. Overall though, it's a really, really enjoyable addition to the franchise. Anyone who likes Pokemon will love it, and I feel like anyone who is indifferent should play this. If you don't like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, then I'm sorry to tell you, something is deeply wrong with you. I mean, Pokemon just probably isn't for you. I'm Alana, and thanks for watching Button Bash.